This is going to be a different kind of video. I just got home. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the evening. Myself and 2 other SEND parents were forced to physically attend our local council and conduct a sit-in because there's been ongoing issues for a very long time, systemically, with regards to their SEND department. I don't even know where to start. Ultimately, the straw that broke the camel's back was that we were all due to have tuition start as of the new term for our children who have all been excluded, unlawfully excluded because of special educational needs, and that tuition has either not been instated or actually cancelled with no explanation, no reasoning and no communication. There's various other issues across the board. Parents whose children, because of disability and SEND, are out of school or don't have a school place, or there isn't a school suitable to need, those children are not getting their entitlement to free school meals, despite the council offering this provision to every other child. They're not receiving access to services the same as every other child does. They don't get to socialise, they're isolated in their homes, and Camden Council is pretending that there isn't anything to see here. So as a result of this, the press were present with us today at the offices, yet despite the press being there, despite the myriad of evidence that has been carried forward, despite numerous emails that have been sent, numerous attempts on our side to engage, there's no engagement from the council. When we asked the director to speak to us, we were told that Tim Aldridge, who is the director of Children's Services, who is responsible for this, responsible for commissioning education and ensuring that every child has a right to access to a full-time education suitable to need, Tim Aldridge was aware of the press being present, was aware that we were there, has been aware of our emails for a substantial amount of time, many months in my case, and years in other cases where this has been an ongoing issue, and he refused to engage. He refused to come down and speak to us. He refused to speak to us on the phone. He refused to liaise or shed any light on what was happening. And for somebody who champions themselves in something which is known as relational practice, it's not very relational to refuse to engage with 3 SEND parents who had their children present today, who were left waiting without any engagement whatsoever. As well as this, Callum Reddish, who is the tribunal officer for Camden Council, came downstairs, saw us, we asked him to speak with us, and he refused. He point blank refused. When another parent stated that their child was there, he said, well, that's all good, and walked off. And this just shows you the culture within the council, and it has nothing to do with finances, it has nothing to do with money, because the actions that they undertake of delaying and diverting and then making these decisions to spend so much money on forcing all of us to tribunal is only about picking one group of people and refusing to serve them as residents to the same degree as everybody else. Why are disabled children in this borough being treated this way? Why? Why is the culture like this in this borough, and something needs to change? Today there was 3 of us. We had the press involved, we had multiple avenues of which we explored with regards to the press. They are going to publish, and we will only continue to take direct action unless something changes, unless there is engagement. Also to note that Camden Council, in regards to exclusions, has the highest rate of exclusions in London and one of the highest in the UK. For a council that prides itself on the things that it does for its residents, for what it has as a community, to have the highest rate of exclusions is actually disgusting. And then to not have any policy for those children who are excluded and that they're just left and forgotten about is disgusting. And it doesn't uphold the image that Camden portrays itself to be. How can it be that all these children are just being educationally neglected in regards to the support that they're entitled to, and they're just being left? And then the parents are the ones who are having to pick up the pieces and are dealing with systemic, institutionalized parent blame. And this is why we came together today, to show that we are not going to be isolated, we're not going to be divided, that we are together in this, and that we are a community in and of ourselves, and that we won't put up with this. We won't put up with this form of oppression because our children have disabilities and SEND. Does that mean that they're not entitled to the same quality of life as everyone else? Did we not say, Jenny Rowlands, that this is a borough where you want children to grow up and thrive? Does that mean that our disabled children don't count? What is this? And what is this stance whereby government itself is saying every day matters in regards to education? Every day matters. So why are days and days and months and years of our children's education being unlawfully removed from them? And this anger that's being portrayed now as I speak is not something that's just coming from me as one parent. This is coming from parents across the whole of the UK that are experiencing this unlawful treatment towards their children. And when it comes to the abuse of an adult, this is something, that we can take on board and we can advocate to an extent for ourselves if we're experiencing it. I'm a big girl. I can take the abuse. It's fine. It really doesn't bother me when people behave in disrespectful ways, that they're unprofessional towards me, that they don't engage with me. But what I won't tolerate is that level of abuse that's targeted towards my child, who is now suffering as a result of this malice and malpractice and maladministration and undue process and unlawful behaviours by members of public office who are meant to be holding up their Nolan standards. They are meant to remain unbiased. They're meant to have accountability and transparency, and they're meant to communicate. Why is it that they've blocked us from any form of communication? Ever since my case went to tribunal, I was not able to communicate. Why? Why have I been ignored like this? People don't go from 0 to 100 for no reason. It's a response to systemic abuse, and we have had enough.